A word for our listeners. Season 2 of Masks of Nyarlathotep is set in the 1930s and 40s. We will be using terms and sayings from those times, including some that could be considered offensive. It's not our intention to offend. We merely wish to offer as accurate a view of the time period as possible. Welcome to Masks of Nyarlathotep, a Nerds Domain gaming podcast. Join us each week as our investigators uncover the corruption of the mythos in World War II. Starring George Chimples, Rob Walker, Phil Durham, Shirley Niedzwiecki, and Justin Kimmett, with Matt Quiett running the table as keeper. Eldritch evils and crazed Nazi cultists await you just beyond this music.
Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Nerds Domain Presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Shirley.
Hello.
Rob.
Having a good time.
George.
Hi.
Phil.
Hello.
And I'm still Matt. All right, we are at a party at the Miser House. Let's talk about what's going on. So the two, so Blake and Rebecca are moving away from the conversation, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Astor, you are happily engaging Nalani. Is that correct?
Yep.
So as they kind of leave, she furrows her brow for half a second at looking at them, and then turns back to you and says, "So, Captain," and her hand has kind of started to rest on your arm as her other hand, yes, yeah, has started to rest on your arm and not caress it, but kind of like she's half fidgeting.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like. So, Captain, shall we meet some more of our guests?
Oh, that would be fantastic.
So she starts to take you around the room in a very smooth fashion. All the things that you used to do at parties, she does way better.
Okay.
It's clear that not just she knows how to start and stop a conversation. When she gets bored or when she wants to move, she forces it to stop in such a way that the people that she stops it on don't realize it. But it's also clear that she's making sure you can see this.
Right.
So she's almost exhibiting her abilities to you on purpose.
Right.
Okay.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's how we initiated the conversation.
Right.
It's almost a challenge.
Right.
Right.
So, Blake, you and Rebecca are headed to the bar? Or are you headed to a servant to get you a drink? Either is fine. I'm just asking.
I would say the bar so that we could speak with Carlos.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So, Carlos, Blake, and Rebecca come over.
So what are we doing to get evidence at this point?
Well, I would like to keep an eye on Lord
Lord Wigglesworth?
Oh, Lord Wigglesworth. Oh, no.
Lord Wilkerson. I can't even say it.
Wilkerson.
Wilkerson. Anyway, and Nalani to see if they are keeping an eye on anyone, and then we should go from there.
Carlos, can you roll me idea?
Pass.
What might really, really get Wilkerson off his game is for you to toast him in the most sincere fashion possible.
Cool. Yeah, I'm down for that.
This is Carlos. I mean, George is Carlos. Whatever, Allie. Once he comes back in the room, if you gave him the most sincere, good son of the British Empire kind of toast, not only would it be appropriate in the context, but that's the kind of thing that's going to jab him hard.
Yeah.
So, so you guys are there at the bar?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, if we're going to keep our eye on them, then I would think that we're not going to hang out at the bar with Carlos unless we're just going to not keep up appearances anymore. I mean,
Oh no.
our
we'll keep
hosts
up
know, but you
appearances.
probably want to keep up for the other guests. So keep up
Yes,
appearances.
we should make rounds, but if we cannot break away from the party, there is another option,
Which is
which is we would wait until everyone is gone and then return.
okay. Because I'm assuming you're not going to start the toast while we're standing right there. Like, I don't know. Like, if I don't know,
If
is
you want
still
a
in the room?
distraction, I can give you a distraction. When do you want the distraction?
Perhaps when Nilani and the captain are in close proximity
To me?
to each other.
Oh, okay.
Seems like she's pulled Astor into his grasp.
You mean the Lord? You said Captain. I'm not sure if you're talking about Captain Astor or Captain Wilkerson. Well, he's a Lord now. You would not call him Lord or Captain.
Redacted.
I know that Shirley would, but that's a little different.
When we have the distraction, what are we doing? Like, are we going to go, like, look in rooms that aren't part of the party or something?
So tell me the layout of downstairs, what it looks like, what looks like could
You're in
be
a great-
slipped into past some servants, blah, blah, blah.
You're in a great hall. From the front entryway, there's a fireplace to the right. The bar's to the left. The kitchen, or the door into the dining room, is also to the left, where it's clear people are gathering as well. You're not sure what's beyond that. There is also a staircase up on the far wall across from the door that goes up to the second floor. You would expect that there's a kitchen and pantry to the left, and then probably a basement of some sort.
Where are the facilities?
The restrooms are probably
we-
past the dining room. That's as far as you know. They might also be upstairs, but going upstairs has different connotations if you take the lady.
Well, yeah. But, yeah, I mean, just trying to get an idea of if we're trying to get away from the party and be unobserved, like, if the restrooms are in plain sight of where people are gathering, then that we can't, like, oh, we're, taking turns going.
Right. It might be
Disappear or
that
whatever.
you could take another half hour or so to circulate and get into the dining room and check out what else is kind of there. And then that would be a good time for a distraction once you have a better layout of what's going on.
That works for me if it works for the lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps a half hour.
Okay, so you do end up circulating through the dining room. There is also a library and a small hallway. The hallway leads to the bath, and then beyond that to the kitchen. The library is well stocked. Old volumes, new volumes. Just on a quick perusal, it looks like just a standard normal library. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. But if you wanted to look harder, it would just take some time. Your estimates for how many people are at the party was a little low, probably more like 150 or 100 to 125. Didn't account for the library and people moving around in the dining room as well. From going into the bathroom, you can see into the kitchen. There are several servants in there. There are probably, best guess, 20 servants moving around, plus the kitchen staff of 5. There is a stairway in the kitchen room that leads down. So that would be the way to the basement.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would definitely. So Rebecca would lean in and kind of. Are we doing this together or have we separated?
You and Blake
Yeah.
are doing this together.
Oh, okay.
You wouldn't circulate without your escort.
No. I would say that it seems like there's more people here than originally planned for, so perhaps it would be better if we waited for everyone to leave and come back. But then we need to talk to the rest of the group about that.
Well, we can't really talk to Astor at this point. Until we somehow all leave or he finds his own way to leave without exposing him, since it seems that Nilani and Wilkerson are unaware of our association with him right now, and I think that may be for the best.
He does seem quite taken with her.
We will have to keep an eye on that. We could certainly discuss it with
Carlos.
But whether we're looking for Wilkerson to act out or if we're looking for some sort of evidence, we're not going to get him acting out necessarily after hours. Though if we have some idea of what we're looking for, where we're going to look for it, or if we just want to confront them after the party, then we could certainly do that.
Shirley, roll history. Astor, you can roll history as well. Or espionage, whichever's higher. I'm pretty sure it's going to be espionage.
Got it.
Did you get it, Shirley?
I got history.
Okay. So, it's possible that this house also has secret rooms. This area was very pro-Catholicism during a time that they were killing off Catholic priests. So it's possible that there is what's called a priest hole.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be something that would be hard to find, but you guys might want to take the time to look for it too. Same thing with you, Astor. Like that you know all of those things. You're not as familiar with
the
reasoning, but you understand like this is something that has happened. In France, there was a lot of Catholic and Protestant infighting as well.
Right.
They did similar things. So yeah, that might be something you guys need to circulate and look for. While they're circulating for half an hour, she has kept you very close.
Right.
You've seen Wilkerson. He has come in and out of conversations with you guys before. He seems perfectly fine with you. He's back to that same jovial, large personality. He does, from time to time, glare at Blake and Carlos. He doesn't glare at the lady, but he does glare at the two gentlemen.
Right.
He stays away from the bar completely. Doesn't even go, like, there's two doors. There's one close to the bar, and there's one close to the stairs to go into the dining room. He doesn't even go in and out of the door near the bar. It's very clear while you're kind of keeping an eye on things.
Okay.
Why don't you give me a spot hidden? It's alphabetical.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. As you guys kind of circulate over towards the fireplace again, you notice a couple things out of place. There is a switch on the right side of the fireplace.
Okay.
That clearly will open something. You've seen these kinds of things before. So you don't know what it opens. The one you've seen before opened a spot in the floor that people could climb down, but you do definitely see something there.
Is it like a step switch?
It's a like the above the fire on the mantle. It's a stone mantle, and there's essentially a bookend, a stone bookend built into the mantle that you can see where it has scraped back and forth a little.
So you'd have to move the bookend
just
itself.
Grab the bookend, pull it, and it will do whatever it does.
Are there books on the mantle?
Yes.
What kind of books? Just general idea.
Whatever would be appropriate for being on the mantle of a fireplace in England. Like, I don't know.
Well, I mean, is it like a prominent,
histories
like a display? Like maybe if there's a display of like.
Let's say
rare
a
tomes
collection
or
a collection of British plays. So like there's a Shakespeare up there, and then whatever other plays would be appropriate for a collection like that to be displayed.
Okay.
It would be something you would expect in the house of someone who is a lover of the theater.
Gotcha.
So.
Okay. Excellent. I am gonna. Okay. So she's still like caressing and petting.
Yeah, she has become much more intimate. Like nothing overt, but she's laughing and touching your arm way more than she should be for a married woman.
Right.
Yeah, just subtle things that you're picking up on that maybe other people are picking up on. Maybe they're not. They don't seem to notice.
Right. or
But-
they ignore.
Yeah, they may be purposely not noticing.
Right.
so.
Which is probably not abnormal, anyways. I mean, I'm gonna continue to like, just kind of like woo her a little bit and play the role. I want to play the part, but then like I'm definitely gonna like make sure she understands that this isn't just me playing the part. There's a challenge. Like I'm trying to engage with other people and do that.
Okay.
And I'm trying to learn from and take the upper hand in the conversations or something. Like, and not like push her out of the way, but that nice like, as that banter's going on, how can I? They're trying to engage.
Yeah.
You see what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah. I'd say towards the end of the half an hour, you've circulated the Great Hall. You've not gone into the dining room at all. Wilkerson comes up one last time and again pats you heavy on the back. Says, "My boy, I hope you're giving her a good time."
She's giving me a run for my money.
I bet she is. You have not been to a party here before,
Not here.
so you're not familiar with her cultural ways.
No.
You're welcome to whatever she offers you this evening. You have my blessing.
Okay.
That's
it.
He has made the statement he's going to make and just kind of looks at you.
I mean, there's obvious implication, right?
Oh yeah.
Right. What does she do when he says that?
She smiles, like nothing bigger or anything different than what she's been doing all night.
I'm just gonna keep composure then.
He stands in the conversation for a moment. He does say this in front of other people who are not taken aback. They seem to expect it to be coming.
Gotcha.
And then, again, moves himself out of the conversation. He's good, nowhere near as good as her.
Right.
He's probably not as good as you, but still, it's clear that he's done the social maneuverings before.
Right.
Towards the end of that half hour, you guys come back into the room. Do you want to talk to Carlos again after you kind of checked out the whole house? Or do you want to just let Carlos do the...
As a reminder, so when we left Carlos, he was going to go ahead and make the toast,
Yeah.
correct? Okay. Then
I don't know if
no.
he told us it was a toast. I think he was going to do a distraction.
Yeah, he just said he was going to make a distraction.
Oh, okay. Then no, I wouldn't.
Okay.
If he's going to do this within the half hour, I wouldn't move to
Okay.
be near him.
Where are you going to be when he starts this distraction? Like at the stairs to go upstairs, or are you going to go back down towards the back to go downstairs?
I would just like to cite for the record that the guy who's bringing in the explosives and whatever else hasn't told you what the distraction is going to be, but you said yes, you can make a distraction.
But she didn't know he has the explosives.
No,
No,
I don't know he has
I
the
know he has
I don't know
explosives.
that he has the explosives.
But I also don't expect him to blow himself up.
Well, Carlos.
Don't expect him
Carlos
to.
is not a fan of fire and lit a room on fire. FYI.
That's fair.
Yes, I still don't expect himself to commit suicide at this point.
I start
Well, we
screaming
couldn't
real
be
loud and running real fast.
The servants wouldn't be paying attention to this because they're used to this banter, correct?
That's correct. But they also
so there
may,
would no need be to be in the kitchen to try to go downstairs.
for you guys, I mean,
Right.
but they may also not stop you.
Yeah, but then there's talk. Oh, so and so went downstairs.
You know that
I think
having hosted a party
upstairs-
like this before, if someone went way outside of where they were supposed to, you didn't get told until after the party was done. Unless it was like they went way outside and then I smelled like something burning, and like unless something emergency happens,
Mhm.
those guests are not going to get or the hosts are not going to get interrupted.
Do you think we should break up?
Oh,
We're not
just
near
started
you.
being together.
She makes such a good couple.
Wow, you didn't even give her any time. You're just like, Blake,
Really sad.
She's like,
you
I
dirty
just-
Irishman.
I get dumped like that
Deuces,
a lot.
bro.
dude, this is like a middle school dance all over again, brother. It's been 15 minutes in and you're host.
I like Tommy better.
Did you see the dude with the mutton chops? Bye.
Blake's used to this. You know, women use them and leave them.
Oh.
So sad.
I think that if
Father, forgive me for my sins does not count.
I think that if you want to keep up appearances for yourself and your family, for the other guests, then we need to stick together. So that when, like, the distraction will allow us to get somewhere out of sight, and then we may not be noticed for a period of time. But then we will have to rejoin the party, and if we're rejoining the party from different areas, I think it
Looks
could.
suspicious.
I mean,
Shall
if
we
one of us is
go-
coming from the bathroom or something, then maybe someone else could be somewhere else. But
Shall we go upstairs or to the basement?
I think the basement gives us a better re-entry later than the stairs, going upstairs. We have a better chance of sneaking out of the kitchen unobserved, I think. Yes, no, maybe.
No, that's a solid assessment. Yeah.
Yes.
I like that assessment.
So I would vote for downstairs, unless you have a compelling reason to go upstairs.
None at all.
So when he creates his distraction, let's be near where we can get to the kitchen and get downstairs.
Carlos, the time has come.
Have you
Oh,
written your
boy.
toast?
I'm gonna wing it. So I started there's silverware around, going ding 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 ding
Uh-huh.
ding ding on the glass for a long time. Just waiting for like everything to kind of shut down and for people to start staring at me, and I imagine that once they get a glimpse, they're like really looking, and I'm just smiling.
Just taking way too long.
Yeah. Well, it's
Yeah.
also so that they know what's going on. But so I ding, and so I assume the Lord and now Lonnie are in the great room where I am.
Yeah.
So ladies and gentlemen, apologies. I don't know most of you. I'm a stranger to this land, but I must thank both English hospitality and the hospitality of our esteemed hosts here tonight. You English are famous for your reserve, but I think my people are also famous for their lack of it. Yes,
There is a small chuckle that goes through the crowd, like an appropriate
Yeah.
response, as though you're just joking and not being serious.
In my country, which has been taken from me, we have our own customs, and it is customary for the guests to toast the host, which is what I will be doing now. I would like to raise a glass, and I urge you all to do the same, to a true scion of England, a proof of great British breeding and what it creates, just the best and most loyal subject that an empire could possibly desire, who's willing to accept strangers into such a warm and inviting home. And of course to his beautiful wife, who's also come from very far away and has been welcomed by all of you so graciously. And I would like to give a toast to her beauty and his hospitality and just the wonder and loyalty that they've shown to this great empire. God save the king, and God bless Lord Wilkerson and the lady now Lonnie.
Do you mispronounce her name on purpose?
No.
Okay. I just was checking.
Is it now Lonnie?
Nalani.
No, Lonnie.
Close enough. Astor, while he is talking, Wilkerson stiffens very visibly. You can tell it too, Carlos, but like Astor, you can feel a rage just flowing out of him. Nalani stiffens for just a moment every time Carlos says her name. It would be imperceptible if you weren't touching her. But
Right.
it's like she's fiddling with your coat, your jacket, and then stops when he says Nalani, and then continues to fiddle. It's just something is off about that she doesn't care for. Wilkerson kind of takes a half step forward and says, and clears his throat. Nalani unattaches herself from you quickly, grabs his elbow, and he had puffed himself up and stood taller. She grabs his elbow, and it's almost as a weakness floods over him, and he kind of slumps almost. The confidence that you both have seen all night, gone. He looks sickly. The robustness of his body is faded, and he doesn't look like a strapping man. He looks like he's probably 50 pounds underweight and sick. And it's just a momentary vision of that, and then it goes away when she lets go. And he just smiles in a very unconvincing way and says, "A most gracious guest, thank you." And everyone says, "Here, here," and everyone raises their glasses, takes a drink. Everything else from everyone else goes off as though there was nothing. They're aware something happened, but nobody says anything. And nobody acts out of turn. Except Nilani, who kind of pushes him. And I mean, like, she might as well be lifting him and carrying him at this point towards the stairs to go upstairs. The whole thing has become a very awkward scene.
Excellent.
The conversation doesn't start back up, though. It kind of dies. And people are quiet. You can hear the crackling of the fire. You can hear clinking of glasses and, servants moving around, but it is very eerily quiet for a moment. And then
so she's pushing him. She's not escorting him.
No. This isn't come on, honey. It's her hand is on the small of his back, and she is propelling him to the stairs.
Okay.
The conversation slowly starts to come back as he gets to the stairs and starts to go up it, and she stops at the bottom of the stairs and he continues up. And then she turns around, and just as smooth as before, her face is just oozing charisma and happiness and that joyous hostess thing.
How did I feel in those moments?
You're afraid you're going to die because there was something wrong, and then she did something, and it just like you had this fear, this dread of death come over you.
Okay.
So he kind of plods up the stairs. You hear the conversation start back up. It's not as loud or as fervent as it was. You see some people go to grab their coats. Something has happened here that has not gone over well. And you're not familiar enough with British society,
right, to put it all together.
But you know that whatever happened, even if they didn't see what you saw, like that
they
vision
felt
of
it, they understood it,
and he really he cleared his throat in anger, and you don't do that,
right?
Meanwhile, Blake and Rebecca, you come down to the basement. It is a basic storeroom, basic your normal, like your cheeses and your breads and everything you would need for a party. There's a lot of food down here. Kind of on the back wall, away from the stairs, though, like you guys have some time to search, you do notice a slight scraping pattern where it's clear the door has opened and shut, but there is no door. It's just a wall. You don't see anything you really, really look, and there's nothing to activate anything. So whatever activates this particular door is on the other side.
Got it.
Well, that sucks.
So it takes us one turn to cast the spell.
Mm-hmm.
What does it look like when we cast it?
You're going to chant. You're going to
do a little dance.
Move your hands. So you will be clearly casting it. It's going to be very clear you cast it. There is nothing else. There's no effect from you to whatever it is. It will be very clear that you're casting it. You all did get your magic coin back at the beginning of the day, though.
I think we should try to rejoin the party, and we'll have to see what we can do with this information.
Okay.
Yes, let's.
You guys come back upstairs. There's probably been 15 people that have left. You've watched them slowly trickle out.
I don't want. So, do we make it back into the party without seemingly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shortly after, kind of seeing that people are beginning to leave, I'll say to Rebecca, I don't think we should be the last ones to leave. That may not be pretty. especially if you want to avoid bloodshed.
At least he's being honest.
She's kind of taken aback by that.
Really,
statement.
after all the other conversations.
Well, it's very
I-
frank. It's just out there.
I think if we were frank before, then we wanted to
Right.
kill her. I mean, I'm all for be the last ones here, and we'll try to take her out. But
What's Carlos and Astor doing? Has Astor re-engaged Alani?
Did you move to do that?
I didn't move, so I waited to see what she was doing. I'm watching.
She engages the crowd.
She engages.
She's if you had to guess, she's attempting damage control. Whatever cat and mouse thing she was doing with you, she can't do it anymore. She has to protect whatever's going on here. Or she has to fix whatever's going on here.
I'm going to go to the bar to get a drink,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I'm going to quietly recommend to Carlos, that the first step or the first actions that you took really worked well. I'm going to kind of give him a quick synopsis of it, and it's going to trying to make it look like it's idle chatter with one of the other patrons there.
Do you introduce yourself?
Yes.
Okay.
Fellow foreigner.
Yep. And then in Spanish, I'm going to kind of give him a quick rundown.
Okay. You kind of picked up on some of that, but not all of it. Basically, what he's been doing and going through.
Yeah.
Do you tell him about the secret door?
Secret door,
Okay.
yes. And I'm going to tell him that if he can continue to make distractions and continue getting attention, it's not going to be a bad thing. I think whatever he did unsettled the whole party, and it's going to really cause a scene if he proceeds.
Where's the secret door again?
Fireplace.
It's over at the fireplace.
How would he be able to get into that?
Hypothetically, you could pull people into the dining room for some reason, for whatever reason.
So you've already kind of established yourself as a negative icon here. Like, you're not really apparently wanted. She's out causing damage control. If you can interject on that damage control and kind of hold her at bay, you're going to put her on edge, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Find an attractive lady that she's talking to. Start acting a bit uncouth.
Oh, I can be uncouth.
Oh, God.
Is that my wheelhouse?
Is Nalani going to the
Can't bring
dining
you
room at all?
anywhere.
Yes. As she's moving around, she does move into the dining room.
Okay, I'm going to grab a bottle of Spanish Red and a couple glasses, and in addition to my own that's full, and go
Okay.
in there.
Okay. Some of the guests, Astor, clearly follow him in. Like, wow, this is gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens here.
I start like, how come no one else followed up with a toast? No one else is toasting. Come on. This is no way to treat our the wonderful host for doing such a great party.
So I'd say there's probably 30 people in the room. Say 8 of them follow him in. 12 of them put on their coats to leave. And the other 10 are kind of unsure what they want to do. They're watching the stairs.
Right.
And kind of like not sure what is going to happen here.
I'm not trying to get you shot or killed. This is
no,
gonna
that's
be
a good
fun.
idea.
So, you do see a lot of whispers from the 10 that are still there.
Right.
They're no longer conversing; they're whispering. And the people in the dining room you can hear are conversing. You can, there's that din of voices, and that's kind of about the time that Blake and Rebecca come back into the great room. You see Carlos going in to the dining room with a bottle of wine, a full glass of wine, and then 2 extra glasses that are empty.
I give him a nod.
I'm gonna continue to make rounds and I'm talking to people and kind of getting the feel for the room. I want to read the room really well. Is my goal.
Are you trained in persuade, Carlos?
I haven't tried to persuade anybody yet.
Are you trained in it?
Oh, I don't think so. Let me check what it's at.
He doesn't need to persuade in this
Uh.
case.
Yeah, I'm at a 24, so I wasn't trained, but I got some advancement.
Let's say
Agitation.
Trained in agitation.
I don't need to be trained in that.
well, let's just give me a percentage roll.
64.
as Carlos goes in there and starts whatever toast is next, or whatever he's doing, the other 10 people slowly filter in, leaving the great room kind of empty. By this time, though, probably half of the party has left.
So the room is empty. The other room is fairly empty.
Yeah.
Music hasn't picked back up.
There was no music. There was never music, and you guys
No?
didn't realize it because the conversation was going so well with everyone.
Oh.
So there was never music. Now it's just that crackle of the fire and a little bit and the din from the din of conversation from the other room.
So it's the three of us in the room?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
No servants? Sorry.
Like a servant peeks in every once in a while, but not often.
When we're not being we don't have any attention on us,
Right.
is when I'm gonna point out, because I'm not going in.
Okay.
I'm gonna point out the spot on the shelf.
I'll go look over there.
Okay. You see exactly what he's pointing out. It's not hard to see now that it's been pointed to.
Right.
I follow him over.
I'll kind of look at him and kind of head nod towards the dining room.
Right.
Okay.
So now my goal when I get in the dining room is to catch back up with Nalani. That way, there's something I can.
You can steer the conversation.
And I'm going to start trying to. I'm going to start trying to help her do damage control.
Okay. So you guys go. You go straight over to the secret room or secret door and pop it.
I wait for the check-in, and then as soon as the check-in by the servant is done,
Okay.
pop the
When you do it, the side of the stone side of the fireplace kind of pops forward just slightly and then slowly opens to wide enough for you, Blake, to get through a little uncomfortably. It's just you have to turn sideways a little bit, not a bit. You have to Riker this one.
Nice.
But yeah, you can go through. It's not as wide as like
Me.
it could be. But there are stairs that go down.
I get in there quickly.
So I follow him through, but as soon as I get through to where no one can see me from the other room, I pull a gun out of a thigh holster on inside my dress.
You
Do you
do
pull it
see
close behind you?
you do see a latch to let you back out
Yes.
once you close this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that would suck.
I kind of assumed it went down and out through the.
That's a bad assumption.
But,
So
yeah.
you come down the stairs. Do you pull out your gun as well? Or are you
Do I
gonna
hear anything?
you want to roll a listen for me?
Yeah. 5.
Yeah. What's your listen?
It is 85. So
Oh,
critical.
that's a yeah. You hear low moans, and clinking of chains.
Then I definitely pull out my pistol. Yeah.
So you find yourself in a room. There's a little hall that goes down off of it, and then cells, and there's cells down the hall. And I mean, like we're talking like 3x3 cells with a door on the front with a solid wooden door and that little window with the bars. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Any sign of a guard?
No.
I'll walk the length of the hall, but not like look into any of the cells. I'll do that quietly. So
At the end of the hall, there's a door that is shut, like a regular wooden door. But not. I mean, like that's kind of the end of it.
I'll listen at the door.
Roll it again.
How about an 4?
You don't hear anything from the door. Just sounds silent.
Do any of the cells not have moaning?
There are a few of them. You're looking at 12 cells total.
Yeah.
I'd say 4 of them don't have any moaning.
I'm going to look into one of the ones without moaning
It's
first.
just kind of an empty cell. There are chains against the wall. There's enough room for someone to sit with their legs out, and that's about it. And it looks like the chains, they would be, if they're for their arms, they would be up the whole time.
I'm going to check the rest of the non-moaning ones.
Same thing. Kind of empty. Or definitely empty, except for the chains.
You're trying to preserve your sanity.
No, so if they're moaning, they're probably conscious. If they're conscious and they see me, they might cry out.
That's a solid point, yeah.
That's fair. I mean, if they're moaning and they're in the house, they've brought the entire guests over. Would they be able to hear them upstairs realistically?
The walls down here are thick. It's likely that they would have to be really loud. You might be able to shoot people down here and get away with it.
I'm gonna go stand by the door. I'm gonna kind of, before I stand by the door, I'm gonna go to Rebecca. I want you to check on one of the moaning ones. You know, maybe approach slowly so that they don't.
He's preserving his safety.
Right.
I'm gonna go stand by the door where there's potentially a guard or something.
No, I get it. I think that's fine.
No. Quit praying it off. I know what you're doing.
So, are you gonna go look in one of the?
She nods, and then she slowly goes over to the first door that they're closest to.
Do you have a gun out or a knife?
A gun.
Okay. So you look in the
slowly
yeah.
peek over
Give me a hide. I mean, she's trying to hide, so I'm going to have her roll a hide. Don't get all wide-eyed on me, Phil. Like, oh my God!
I didn't know who you were asking.
Oh yeah. It's alphabetical. I'm kidding. I'm really teasing.
Every damn time.
It's right next to history.
22 over 65.
Under 65.
Whatever.
Okay, there's a difference.
Under.
So you kind of peek in. There is a woman in tattered pauper clothes, chained. She's sitting on the ground. Her arms are kind of up in these chains. She looks like she's conscious, but she's not looking around. She's just kind of moaning. You can see some open wounds on her face and legs. Like she's been beaten with a whip. Like she's been whipped. I guess there's a word for that. It's called whipped.
Like, yeah, the beating with the whips on like you took like the handle. And you, like,
yeah.
beat them with the handle.
I mean that's gotta hurt too. But
Yeah.
like,
I mean,
You've been pistoled. You've been pistol whipped. There you go.
so my demeanor definitely changes to not upset, but like just angered,
okay.
consternation, or something of that nature. And I would go and do the same for each.
There's more men than women, so 8 cells. There are 5 men, 3 women. All of them are in clearly poor or homeless. Were poor or homeless. Now they're prisoners. All of them show signs of having been whipped. Some are better off than others. Like some are moving around and seem like they haven't been whipped much, but they have been whipped. But there are a total of 8 prisoners.
So when she's done,
Then I would go back and let Blake know.
since they didn't start yelling or anything,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try the door.
It's unlocked.
I'll try to open it slowly, and if it starts making noise, then I'll probably move more quickly to see what's going on.
It doesn't make any noise. It's a it seems well oiled hinge. What you see inside is a large room that looks like it's probably some sort of workroom. So you're going in. So the far left corner is kind of covered in statues and paintings and jewelry and small altars. All of it looks like it is in some way, shape, or form either occult or mythos related. There are busts, there are statues, there are just a whole slew of things that looks like they just have not been gone through. That kind of takes up like a tenth of the room in that corner. To the right, there are 2 bunks. All 4 are occupied. 3 of people are laying down dead asleep. 1 is sitting up with a book. What you see hanging next to them are Nazi uniforms with the SS symbols or insignias on them. The man that's sitting up is in like, I assume that they wore like plain white shirts under their uniform, so just like an undershirt, and then he has his blankets up over him. It is a tad bit chilly in here. It's a basement in England. It's going to be a little chilly. But he seems unfazed by it and is reading.
And I don't believe the gunshots are going to be heard.
likely that the gunshots are going to be heard.
Does he not look over?
No, he didn't hear the door open. There are there are lights in the room and in the hall, and it's not going to be enough light difference that he even notices.
This
And
is. I follow him, correct?
I don't know. Do you?
Yes, I follow
Well,
him.
like I haven't gone into the room. I've only just kind of opened it far enough to see this or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
So then I probably can't see it.
well, I see part of the room. I don't know which part, but how far between the door and the bunks?
25 feet. It's a hefty room. So that's the far right corner. To the right, you see workbenches, books out on them, occult devices. Like you're seeing a workroom. You can't tell what's to the left because the door opens that way. So hypothetically, you could have like a whole squad of Nazis standing to the closest to the left, but
Right.
it's unlikely that there's that many there. Give me a spot hidden, Blake.
Okay. In Rebecca's mind, as she's starting to take all this
You
in,
definitely see me tense up.
she's realizing that this is what will need to ruin him, and she's trying to figure out a way to expose it.
Okay. Blake, do you make that?
4.
What?
No.
What's
You
your
got
spot
loaded
hidden normally?
dice. Do you have loaded dice?
80.
8. Wow, so that's a 5th too. You see clearly on the uniforms the black sun, which you remember was a symbol you've seen before. You also recognize the man that's sitting up and reading. He was one of the party guests in Germany, not someone specific, but you're like, I've seen that guy before. He was at the party.
He's not the dead guy that got resurrected.
No. But you know this guy. You've seen him before. You're 100% sure that that's him.
I'm going to. That's what I really, really want to do.
You
all
lean back
making
to
finger
Rebecca
bang
and you're
motions.
like, "Give me your gun. Give me your gun."
No,
She's just like,
I've got
"What?"
my gun out.
No, you need one for each hand,
there
man.
you go, yeah. I've got my gun trained on him, the reading guy, and I'm gonna try to slowly pull the door shut.
Okay.
But if he
give me a sneak.
gives me so much,
He half turns a page and you're like, bang, 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 bang. There's the fail.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, there's
sorry,
the fail.
fieldcraft.
Oh.
Fieldcraft.
Okay, then I pass.
Yeah, you close the door quietly. And Rebecca, you probably didn't see much of that. From your vantage point, you probably just saw the Nazis. Like, you didn't see the corner of occult
But I saw
stuff
the
and
guy
the work,
sitting there
but you
in
saw the
uniforms.
uniform. You probably didn't
That's
see the
it.
black sun.
Right.
Give me a spot hidden.
I guess it doesn't matter. It was an
Well, it does.
odd 3.
Oh, good night. What's
It
your
does
spot
'cause
hidden
you get
normally?
Audited.
Oh, sorry. Thought it was up in the corner. 60.
Okay. You notice the black sun symbol as well. That they're SS uniforms with black sun black sun symbol.
Mm-hmm. Does this bring anything back from the archaeology dig, Venezuela?
No, that
Okay.
that was more
Something separate.
that was more deep ones than anything else. Yeah, that's why you don't want to get in the water.
Not going on the.
So I'll, not like forcefully, but kind of like start directing you, like we need to go back up the stairs or whatever, because there's nowhere else to go, right?
Right.
So,
Not that you could see.
in Rebecca's mind, she's almost willing to half faint when she gets at the top and opens it and scream so that everybody comes over and sees the open door. But then I don't know how powerful Nalani is, so I don't know.
So, are you going to do that or not?
And are you going to tell me that you're planning to do that?
I don't think she should tell you anything.
I didn't ask. I didn't say if should or not. I just if I'm aware or not.
Just commit to the cause.
Commit to it, Shirley. Come on. It's a good idea. It's not like you're poisoning a water hole.
Right. No, this is this is a really good idea. I think you have a really good plan.
He's not on the hook to die. At least not in a way that he minds.
Not only that.
How
not
many
only is this
people
a
are
good
left
idea and a
at the
good
party?
plan, I've had
About
like
80?
6 good ones that I could not
75.
execute because I'm not down there.
75.
All right.
Was shooting the Nazis one of those plans, Rob?
It was like 3 or 4, yeah.
So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this on the other side of the door, pointed towards them, so when it explodes.
Oh, I hadn't even gotten there yet. 7 good
okay.
ideas now.
No, so we don't have any other backup. There's nobody else that is going to come to our rescue.
We've got agents.
They cannot.
Yeah.
If they attack you in this situation, they're violating the law. You've done nothing except look around in their house.
Right.
And they have Nazis in the basement. Like your fear of their reprisal is, they've got some.
It's not reprisal. It's what kind of power does Nolani have? Why do I feel like I want to commit suicide when I walked in the door?
Oh, okay.
And if she can make me feel like that, what can she do to manipulate the other people's minds to come after us?
Can you roll me an idea?
You fought deep ones, according to what we've heard already at the metagaming.
Scene.
Oh, that's
over by 6.
That's great. I'm gonna give it to you anyway. I like this idea. You could send Blake in the other room to get Carlos. They go out to the car, get firepower, come back in. Then you faint. That way, if Nolani starts doing anything crazy, they just mow her down.
We're gonna do that.
So you tell me that's the plan?
Yes. So as we're walking up the stairs, I relay that information to you. And I ask you to quickly go get Carlos and...
Well, do we want to kill those Nazis down here first then, so they don't come out and help?
No, we want them to be caught.
If they can't hear a gunshot from downstairs, they're not going to hear what's going on until it's too late.
Right.
Well, a fight with the lions is going to take several rounds, but I guess it's still going to take a while to get upstairs. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get out of the secret hidey hole without being spotted.
Okay. No, you're fine. You come out of... There's nobody there.
Okay. So, I'll go get Carlos.
Okay. So are you going to go... You're not going to walk straight in the room and be like... Go straight to Carlos and be like, hey, we got to go. Or you're going to motion to him to bring him to you?
So, is he still kind of causing a
scene?
He
He is causing a huge...
Well, we should role play what he's doing.
Yes. So while they've been downstairs, what's going on in the other room, Carlos?
So now Lonnie is talking to people in that room. So I will come up to her with a bottle of wine, and I will give a glass to whoever she's talking to and give one to Nelani and start pouring them wine. Say, don't you find that this gin and scotch and it just doesn't have that warming effect of a nice Spanish red? It just reminds me of home. And it's like my home is so much warmer. Do you have the same problem, Lady Nolani, where you just England's just so cold and drafty? Don't you wish there was just a warmth, some spark in this house?
Much different than Egypt. Wetter by far. It's sticks to you at times.
Do you find the home is warm enough here?
I'm sorry, I'm not coming off charismatic enough. She is just dripping with it. Like she's agreeing with you, but seemingly in the nicest way about England as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I miss the warm, dry breeze just that you get sometimes in the afternoon.
Well, these English, I tell you, they're wonderful people, but hopefully I can bring some warmth to this home for you.
Astor, you're standing there with her. You get pinched. Like she doesn't mean to, but it's that thing where she closes her hand and accidentally grabs some of your skin in it. It's painful.
I'm gonna rub my hand over her hand and caress her. My whole goal now is comforting and
roll a sanity check.
I did not get that.
You're going to lose a D4. As you touch her hand, you So you know when you have a really bad burn, like I mean bad burn, and like you push across it and the skin actually moves because it's like the pus and stuff underneath it is liquid and it just like slides.
Yeah.
When you touch her hand, that's what you feel. And you look at her face is burned. There's a permanent burn. It makes Carlos look healthy. Her hand, you have it on yours. It's just for a moment. Carlos, you don't see any of this.
Yeah.
But you pull your hand away and it has pus and blood on it. Her hand looks fine. It feels fine on your arm still, but you're covered in whatever this is.
Ugh. That's pretty gross.
Do you maintain your composure?
I am going to attempt to.
Give me a sanity check again. That's just a solid thing to do. Sanity.
Failed it by the same amount.
So assuming you're holding a cocktail, you
Right.
probably drop it because you have that cocktail napkin. Like drop the glass completely and start wiping at your hand, and it's on the napkin too. Carlos, you see blood and pus on this napkin. You know what that is, what that's from. You have had that same exact thing come off of you.
I'm like smiling and grinning. I'm actually grinning pretty widely.
The blood dripping down your teeth.
Maybe a little bit, but I'm drinking a lot of wine too.
Oh,
so
that's
you can't
true.
really
Yeah,
tell.
yeah. You have the glass is just whatever it was, Scotch or I don't know, you're French, so champagne. I don't
French
have
wine.
Like, it's on the carpet or on the floor. It's stone floor, so it's on the floor. Nalani is very like this is the first time she's really again done anything other than stay calm.
Right.
She stiffens. And there's kind of a mess, and then everybody at the party realizes that this has gone really weird, really quick. One of the servants comes over with a warm cloth and takes your hand and starts like cleaning it, and kind of leads you towards the kitchen, gently, like not like yanking you, but like
Right.
you know, sir, we'll take care of this in the kitchen, like just drawing you back that way.
I'm gonna be like, no, I'm gonna resist, and just be like, no, I'm fine. Take the towel and kind of wipe myself clean and hand it back.
Okay. Yeah, he doesn't. It like he tries to lead you, and as soon as you give him any resistance, he stops trying to lead you, and then takes the towel, picks up the glass, and walks into the kitchen.
Right.
Well, picks up the big chunks of glass because they would have broken on the stone floor.
So my response there to the group is, "Oh, I must have cut myself on the glass. It must have been a fray or something on it."
One of the random party members says, "You should probably go wash that off in the bath. Make sure you didn't. Does anybody know any first aid?" And one of the gentlemen says, "I trained as a doctor. I'll be coming with you." And
Right. And then I'll walk with him.
Okay. Yeah. So you go in the bathroom. Carlos, Nalani is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Has she gone back to her composure? Like Astor
Nope.
was the only one that saw that.
Yeah. No, Astor was the only one that saw, and the only reason you saw it, Astor, is because you were in physical contact with her when she wasn't prepared for it. Yeah. So she never nobody saw any of that stuff except Astor. Yes, warmth to this home. I'm sure you could bring plenty of warmth to this home.
I'd like to. Tell me, how is the war? How do you see the war going?
I think that England will resist, and eventually, I believe that the king will see the light of reason in letting Germany have what they needed, and declaring peace. It's actually a prevailing idea at the time. It's a nasty prevailing idea at the time.
I know, but there was the look on George's face. That's what did it. You look over and he's got this just shit-eating grin and these bright eyes like, how am I going to piss this day up?
I'm wondering, this would be before the Blitz.
Yeah.
Probably.
Blitz hasn't started December. Like, they don't do anything until, I think, like March. Like they haven't invaded Belgium or nothing. It's been Poland, and then there's been some.
This is like the phony war period.
Yeah, there's been some naval skirmishes, and that's it. Like Italy's still at peace.
Does the Lord Wilkerson share this view?
I believe that the Lord pushes for this view.
Ah, yes.
When he speaks in the House, he is a great advocate of declaring peace with Germany. We have many things that we can learn from the Aryans.
Yes, tremendous bombers of civilians they are.
They have many talents.
Yes. Not a lover of freedom, then, are you?
They're absolutely a lover of freedom. Look at the German people before the war broke out, before Hitler came to power. Look at what happened to the mark. It rose and rose and rose until no one could afford bread. And look what Hitler's done. Their people go on vacations now.
Like the Jews?
Their people.
The people who look like me?
Not their chattel.
Ah, yes. The chattel. The cattle.
Well, I mean, you can eat cows. I wouldn't eat a Jew.
I chuckle at this. I kind of look around. How are the other people in the room responding to this?
Jewish bigotry at the time is not unheard of.
No, I know.
I mean, so they don't bat an eye.
Yeah.
Even if they don't agree with it, they don't seem to speak up.
Yeah.
So.
You know, some people in Britain would say the same about your people.
With the Egyptians?
Mm.
Perhaps. But unlike the Jewish people, we have had empires and we understand our place.
What's your place now?
Next to my lord.
Your lord.
Of course. I wouldn't marry him if I wasn't willing to call him my lord.
Is he unwell? Why did he have to go upstairs? He didn't seem healthy.
He put so much effort into putting together this party, I think he might have worn himself out.
Strange. Usually that's left up to servants.
Lord Wilkerson looks to every detail.
Isn't that up to the lady of the house?
He has his ways. I don't disagree with my lord.
Tell me, you're really running things, aren't you?
I did plan out the menu.
Oh, what was served?
You've seen the food go around. I mean, it's just typical appetizers for 1939 Britain. I have no idea what that would be. Probably some seafood since they're so close to the sea. I have no idea.
Octopus look a little charred. We prefer it a little bit more rare where I'm from.
I've heard that your people like things cooked, though.
Some.
Yeah.
Have you heard of ceviche?
I have not.
You'd like it. Raw fish.
Perhaps someday I'll go to your home and enjoy your cuisine.
Oh, you can't go to my home.
Oh, well, that's right. The Germans.
Yeah, your friends.
Oh.
Killed my family. Bombed them. Such wonderful, civilized people. Such a wonderful culture. What a great empire they will make.
It's what happens when you fight against those that are in power rightfully.
A toast to freedom, then.
Absolutely.
Raise the glass.
She raises the glass you gave her and drinks it. All of it.
No gods, no masters.
Would you care to refill me?
Poor.
I would think that you would see to someone about that nasty scar. Doesn't seem to be healing well.
That's as healed as it's going to get.
I've heard near mystical abilities of some to heal.
It's a good reminder.
That you're a bad pilot?
What's a bad pilot?
One that crashes into the ground and catches fire.
No, a bad pilot would be one that's dead.
Hmm.
Like the 9 that I've killed. How many people have you killed?
Oh, as an English lady, one doesn't.
Egyptian.
Oh, no, I'm English.
Oh, have you forgotten your roots?
No. But when you marry a lord, you're an English lady.
They don't think that. They'll never really accept you,
They love me here. Everyone around you is very uncomfortable by that statement.
Yeah.
Astor, you've been to the bathroom, washed off. The doctor seems confused because he can't find a cut and doesn't know what happened. But everything and then he murdered you. No, that doesn't happen.
Eat these pills.
Right.
He starts chanting. Something sprouts out of your chest. It's all bad.
It
No,
happened once
no.
before.
But he seems concerned. But then he seems even more concerned when he can't find a cut.
Right.
Where'd the blood come from?
Nothing. Nothing.
How I don't know. When do I come into their conversation?
You don't. You're still in the bathroom until you tell me how you explain this to the doctor.
The doctor?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the weirdest thing. I felt it.
Huh.
I mean,
All right. Well, you seem fine, and you guys come back in as she says. No, the people here love me. And you know what? That will do us tonight for the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. We will talk to you guys next week.
And that will do it for us tonight on the Nerds Domain presents Masks of Nyarlathotep. Remember, you can email us at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or find us over on Facebook and Twitter at facebook.com/nerdsdomain and twitter.com/nerdsdomain. You can also check out our site at nerdsdom.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter while you're there. You can head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. We want to thank Passion Nerdly for our music. Don't forget, you can support us at patreon.com/nerdsdomain and check out our shirts at TeePublic.